Have you ever locked eyes with your cat while they slowly, deliberately push a pen off the edge of your desk, watching it fall the entire time? It looks like pure mischief, and a lot of owners assume that's exactly what it is. But this specific, oddly deliberate behavior has real explanations behind it. Several of them, and almost none of them are actually about spite. Let's go through 5 reasons your cat keeps knocking things onto the floor, and why watching you react is often the whole point. 1. It's testing the object, not defying you. Cats explore the world largely through touch, and a paw is one of their most sensitive tools for investigation. When your cat bats at an object sitting near an edge, they're frequently gathering basic information. Does this move? How does it move? What happens when it does? That instinct traces directly back to hunting behavior, testing prey to see how it reacts before committing further. An object that rolls, wobbles, or slides in response to a light touch is inherently more interesting to a cat than something that stays completely still. Pens, especially, tend to roll in a satisfying, unpredictable way, which is part of why they get targeted so consistently. Your cat isn't thinking about gravity or consequences at all in this moment. They're running a basic physical experiment, and the edge of the table just happens to be where that experiment eventually concludes. 2. Your reaction is the actual reward. Here's the part most owners never fully connect. If your cat knocks something off a table and you respond, even with an exasperated, "Hey, no," a quick laugh, or jumping up to grab it, you've just delivered a form of attention. To a cat who wants engagement, negative attention still counts as attention, and it's often far more reliable to get than waiting around for you to notice them on your own terms. This is straightforward operant conditioning, the same mechanism behind almost every learned behavior in animals. An action that reliably produces a response, any response, tends to get repeated. If your cat has learned that knocking an object off the table gets you to look up from your phone, walk over, or react in some clearly noticeable way, that connection gets reinforced every single time it works. It's not that your cat is plotting to annoy you specifically. It's that the behavior has become a remarkably effective button to press when they want your attention and don't know a better way to ask for it. 3. It can be a request wrapped in play. Sometimes the knocking isn't about the object at all. It's a stand-in for something your cat actually wants but has no direct way to communicate. Boredom, understimulation, or a desire to play often show up as exactly this kind of behavior, small, disruptive actions that reliably get a reaction out of you. A cat who isn't getting enough active play during the day may turn to environmental mischief as their own version of entertainment, and knocking things off surfaces checks several boxes at once. It's physically engaging, it produces an interesting result, sound, motion, sometimes a rolling chase afterward, and it reliably draws you into the moment. If this behavior tends to happen specifically during periods when your cat seems otherwise restless, pacing, vocalizing, seeking attention in other ways beforehand, it's often less about the object and more about an unmet need for engagement that's finding an outlet the only way it knows how. 4. Height and vantage points matter more than you'd think. Cats are drawn to elevated surfaces for reasons that go beyond simple curiosity. Height offers a strategic vantage point, better visibility, a sense of security, and closer proximity to you if you happen to be standing nearby. Counters, desks, and tables are often the tallest accessible surfaces in a home, which makes them naturally appealing spots for a cat to spend time regardless of what's sitting on them. Once your cat is up there, the objects scattered across that surface become the most immediate, available things to interact with. This is part of why the same handful of surfaces tend to be repeat offenders. It's rarely about any specific object being uniquely tempting. It's that the surface itself is where your cat already wants to be, and everything on it becomes fair game once they're there. Giving cats their own approved elevated space, a cat tree, a shelf, a window perch, can meaningfully reduce this behavior, not by punishing the table climbing, but by giving the underlying need for height somewhere else to be satisfied. If any of this is making you rethink that pen you keep losing off your desk, tap that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more cat owners who want to actually understand these small, strange daily moments, instead of just chalking them up to chaos. 5. Some of it really is a bid for connection, deliberately timed. This is the one that surprises owners most. Pay close attention to when the knocking tends to happen, and a pattern often emerges. It frequently occurs specifically when you're distracted, on a call, focused on a screen, deep in a task, rather than randomly throughout the day. Cats are sharp observers of your attention patterns, and some research into feline social behavior suggests cats can be remarkably strategic about timing attention-seeking behavior for moments when they've been overlooked. A cat who has quietly tried a few lower-effort methods first, sitting nearby, a soft meow, brushing against your leg, and gotten no response, may escalate specifically because the quieter signals didn't work. Knocking something off the table is loud, immediate, and nearly impossible to ignore, which makes it a highly effective last resort when your cat has run out of gentler ways to ask for your attention. Put these 5 reasons together, and the classic table-clearing routine stops looking like random chaos and starts looking like a fairly logical, if occasionally frustrating, pattern. Sometimes it's genuine curiosity about how objects behave. Sometimes it's a learned button that reliably gets your attention. Sometimes it's boredom looking for an outlet, or a cat simply wanting to be up high near you. And sometimes it's a deliberate, carefully timed request from a cat who's already tried the quieter ways of asking and didn't get an answer. None of it means your cat is out to get you. Most of it means they're trying, in the only ways available to them, to get something they need.